So welcome, it's Media Center Ukraine, Odessa, and we start our day with briefing of Nataliya Humenyuk, head of the Joint Coordination Center of the Southern Defense Forces. Pani Natalia, the floor is yours. Glory to Ukraine. Thank you for gathering here to communicate with us. And today we will discuss the safety situation in the south of our country. The main characteristic of military operations is counter-battery fights, and the front line is near the Dnipro estuary, and we're separated from our enemy not only territorially, mentally, but we are separated by additional conditions, including weather conditions, and we cannot count them because fighting is specific there, and it is based on the work of distance equipment. Our counter-battery fight gives its results, but the main aspect is that the work of the Force of Defenses of Ukraine is complicated by the fact that the enemy hides maneuvers behind the civilians of the Ukraine within the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine, as they make some evacuation, but in the fact it is deportation because the population of Kherson region then they evacuate to the unknown distriction. They make new points of their location when we push them back because this territory is under our strict wire control, and they settle in the recreation buildings, it's camps, sanatories, and so on, and they are searching for hospitals, schools, and they settle there on the ground floors, and the upper floors they give to the temporarily dislocated people. In such a way they save themselves. Also, their action is fortified by passportization. They want to give them passports and to make them the civilians of the Russian Federation, and their main rhetorics is to save the population of Kherson region, but this activity is illegal, and it is provided by legal disorders, and these facts are fixed by our volunteers in order to be the matter for international tribunal, and the enemy changed its tactics because it is very hard for them to take land positions, and they are sure that they can't hide there, and they try to compensate it by the air attacks. It's tactic aviation with using of guided aerial bombs, and they make it every day. They use drones of Mavic types with blast grenades, and the enemy uses these tactics for the gathering of people, for vehicles, and it's a classic example of terrorism because there is no military aim there. And now the enemy activates its attacks by drones. They try to attack Kherson region, and during the Easter night they attacked Snegurivka village. They tried to remind the population of Ukraine that they can fight not only against the occupied territory. If we remember the history of the occupied territories, Snegurivska Hromada was very mined, and there are a lot of unexploded ordnance within this territory. They also try to attack such territories which are hardly mined, and it causes additional detonation. It's our zone of our control, and we see the ships in the Black Sea. We can't remind about them. These are 6 units in the military office. These are coast guards, military ships, and missile carriers. All these military units are on the positions, but when there is a storm, they try to locate the military units in the items of their location, but in general they try to see the situation and to make their duty in the sea. They try to demonstrate their force and power in the Black Sea, but the use of caliber types missiles is not probably possible, because they have not very much calibers, but they try to scare us, but I ask you not to listen to alarms, because there are a lot of people there. Yes, we may continue. Thank you. Of course, everybody is interested in counter-offense. We have had such a period of time when everybody was waiting for counter-offense in Kherson region, and it was the top topic. And now we hope that we had some lessons of that counter-offense. First of all, if we talk about counter-offense, it's a very strong preparation item of destruction of logistics and fighting against the enemy in order to destroy all the warehouses, all the depots, ammunition depots, gathering of panels, fire control under logistic routes. All these are the elements of counter-offense, but everybody doesn't understand why this process is so long, and when we will be ready to celebrate our counter-offense, but you will get all the information and you will know about the active actions of our military units. In our conscious, all the active military actions are associated with crossing Dnieper River. But I want to emphasize that the modern war is connected with different actions, not only with transferring, and we will highlight it a little bit later. Now there are really lots of information about it in order to understand that the military operation on this state of preparation needs not to be uh, say it loudly, and we will have the opportunity to celebrate our counter-offense. And what about mobilization? Mobilization today is not in use, is not a new item. It's a continuation of actions started with the beginning of full-scale invasion. Now there is a process of general mobilization which has started at the beginning of this invasion. And when people think that there are innovations in this process, I want to tell you that this information is highlighted and is increased by media space. Unfortunately, our possibilities and our amount of resolved people, of the volunteers who wanted to take part in the military actions. It was great at the beginning, but now this amount has decreased. And we all understand that war is connected with losses, and we have to renovate this amount. Now we continue the work on renouncement, and we have a lot of questions that the procedure is not correct, but I want to remind you that we are working during the full-scale invasion, during the active phase, and we have to fulfill our reservists. We can't amend our legislation. Of course, there are some legal issues in our legislations, but we try to resolve them, and we address a legislative authority in order to stabilize this process according to the legislation norms, but we have to fulfill the mobilization resolves, and we have to study them in order to use the equipment technique given by our partners, and to support each other in order to withdraw the enemy from our territory. We don't have another chance, but we have to defend our motherland, and all the thoughts that I can be really useful for my motherland in another way, but I ask you to understand that you have to be rational and you have to act rational. Of course, we are trying to act according to the legislation, but as I have said, it has some legal issues and challenges, but we have no other choice. So that's why these announcements are in the streets, and it is made on a legal basis, and you know about changes that we have the right to give summons in every region, not only in your region. And now there are a lot of status and people have to uh, have to adopt and to prove their status in order for us to use these updated data in order for us not to catch people in the street. But we have an opportunity to give summons in the streets. Madam Nataliya, thank you for you. Colleagues, please ask your questions. So it is turned on. Uh, Madam Nataliya, I want to ask about the Black Sea. Uh, is there the lack of calibers in Odessa, in Russians? Is the reason why there are some quiet days in Odessa. Of course, we can't exclude Odessa, can't exclude the storm because there was a storm in 5-6 degrees, and it is also caused by earthquake in Turkey, and it is said that they aren't ready to counteract in these weather conditions, but this. But we saw the activity of the aviation, and this activity doesn't respond to further to previous periods, and we can't exclude the possibility the attack of the sacral dates. We remember that the assigned dates for Odessa are the 2nd of May and the 9th of May, and we think that the enemy can be preparing for this attack. So the next question, please. Victor Bugayenko, Newsline. So what about summer season? You have said that there won't be a summer season, but in Arcadia we saw the preparation for summer season, and how would it be according to the military point of view, because there are no shelters, and there will be a large gathering of people and music, light. Of course, from our side of view, we have seen this situation, and we know that our region is oriented on the summer season, but we talk to our local authorities, and we try to restrict these actions, and our military authority will give the rules, the certain procedure of this summer season, and we insist on the safety of people, shelters. It's observation for water surface, but the security is the first. We understand that it should develop. Olena Belova, direct. Have you recommended to the local authorities to install long break for these sacred dates. Now we have no such possibility and such necessity because our population is very self-confident and is very self-aware because this practice is not necessary now, but we are analyzing the situation all the time, and if we understand that this danger is increasing, we will give such recommendations. Do you have another questions? Music journal about the Western support. I understand that you can't precise the receive technique, but in general, what do you need to get from the Western partners? Ammunition, missiles, or just support like maintenance of tanks? What is the most important from the Western partners for you? In our So we really feel the support of our partners. So we use the military equipment. So we have logistics and we have great maintenance of our techniques. And not one analytics says that this war reveals the great amount of ammunition use. And as I have said, the enemy hides behind the civilians, and we can't destroy infrastructure, we can't kill our people, and the enemy use this factor. It's such a way of security for them, so that's why we need ammunition of high precise and even in the conditions of such decreased of missile attacks, we need modern air defense systems, and we are talking about it on all international spaces, and we are ready to study as quickly as possible. We are ready to study even to use F-16 planes, but we are continuing to tell that we need them very much. In Kherson region, there are lots of aircraft attacks, and we can't defeat them because we don't have the military and techniques items in order to negate these items, and now we don't have such air defense systems and such aircraft in order to destroy them. Nataliya, please. Good day, Anatoly Kosin. Odessa, we got information that in the military units of military region, the veterans with amputations began to work. And I want to ask if there is such an initiative in other regions. Thank you very much for this question. It is very painful and dry for all of us. It's a position of operative command in South, and it is basis on the fact that in these military units, we need people who can motivate another people to take part in the battlefield. Of course, we are trying to involve people who have who have military experience, but they can't participate in the active military actions. And now this work we are continuing in Mykolaiv region, and we trying to implement such a program in every point of conflictation, and we are trying to tell about every dignity defender of our motherland, and we are trying to tell about them, and we ask you to take this initiative. So thank you very much. We want to finish our briefing. It was Nataliya Humenyuk, head of the Joint Coordination Press Center of the Southern Defense Forces. So our next briefing is in 11:45. Thank you.